high school, and he was my good friend after high school. And I think about him many days because I think about how he had the spirit of his mother. You know, whenever I wanted to do something, Tyrone would call me and he'd say, well, you know, I heard you was thinking about running and doing this, let's go. You know, you have some friends or some people you tell you want to do something, they say, well, I don't know, you should do that, or you ought to talk to so-and-so. But you know, Tyrone would call you and he'd say, let's roll, let's do it. He was always ready to go, and I miss him greatly. I'm so happy to be here too with the Hubbard family because, you know, we've been friends for a long time. And it's important, as Mr. Akbar said, for us to stay together as a community. Myself, along with Jermaine Wooten and Tanya Harris, we represent the Myers family. Vonderi Myers, who was shot by St. Louis police, by off-duty St. Louis police officer. You know, we did a second autopsy and found out he was shot 8 times from behind, contrary to what the police officer said. 2 of those shots were significant in the fact that one of those shots totally ruptured his femur, which would have taken him down, unable to move, probably would have lost his left leg. He had a kill shot to the side of his head, which would have rendered him unconscious, which was probably the last shot that he took, which was while he was already down and unable to move. We have these officers out here that are overly aggressive in our community, and we have to stop it. And we have people that do character assassinations that make it seem like it's okay to kill our kids. But it's not okay to kill our children. I don't know any community of people, Asian, Hispanic, Chinese, Caucasian, that would stand for you killing their children. I'm not going to stand for you killing our children. My heart goes out to the Brown family. I've been a prosecutor and I've been the grand jury attorney. This is foolishness, what we're going through now. When I worked in the grand jury, let me tell you, the grand jury is an arm of the prosecution. The grand jury does whatever the prosecutor says. I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you what I know. I've been in the grand jury. If I didn't like the case, they didn't like the case. Never did I go to the grand jury and say, you decide what the charge is. We charge people by information. We went to the grand jury for confirmation. We went to the grand jury for an indictment. We didn't invite the defense in to talk to the grand jury. We didn't care what the defense had to say. We're the prosecutor's office. We were going to get an indictment. Probable cause. The grand jury doesn't determine guilt or innocence. All the grand jury determines is probable cause. Do we have the right person? Or is the charge correctly, and do we have enough evidence to move forward? All the grand jury is saying you got enough evidence to go from first to second base. It's the lowest hurdle to achieve. What Bob McCullough is doing now is playing a game. If he wanted to prosecute, Darren Wilson would already be indicted and in jail. That's right. Instead, what's happening is that he's hiding behind the grand jury. Because he wants to come back and say, well, the grand jury said it's not me. No, that's you. Because the prosecutor's office controls that. Nobody else is in the grand jury but the prosecutor. And it's the prosecutor that has discretion on calling the witnesses. The defense is not even allowed under normal circumstances in the grand jury. So we have to stand up to this. And we have to say, no longer can you kill our children. We are not going to accept it. St. Louis is the epicenter of it, and we're going to change it nationwide. Thank you.